And here we go. Here we go. And we're at it live.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to
Monday Night Live. Just as this feed comes up. So welcome, everybody. We're excited to join you again tonight on Monday Night Live, and everybody that's tuning in and coming online and waving to us. Thank you.
Hello.
We're super excited to be with you tonight, as always, to be able to share some tidbits, insights. It's like Einstein and sight.
Insights, and outsights. All the sites.
All the sites.
So much vision is going to happen today.
So we're excited to join you. I'm Dean Nixon, the lovely Kate Simmons from St. George, Utah at Turning Leaf Health and Wellness. Super excited to be with you.
As always, Monday night, the best night of the week. Even if we are a little bit, what's the right word today, Dean? We're a little bit seminar hungover.
Oh, yes.
We had a wonderful, amazing crew go through our discernment seminar, a level 2 seminar over the weekend. Shout out to all those participants that worked so hard and
amazing
graduated.
Job.
But it is that seminar is no joke. It's a lot of work.
Emotional hangover.
Yes, exactly. So, but we are stoked to be here with you, bringing the A-est game that we could possibly bring to game. Every time we bring our A game.
We always bring an A game.
But it really might be a C game.
You always bring an A game.
But we're going to bring the A game today.
Well, tonight we really wanted to spend some time and talk about a topic that's universal right now, one that's going on. We know coming out of the month of September, we really focused on suicide prevention in September. And so I want to thank all of you out there that shared insights and thoughts and information that we need to be getting out about suicide prevention and the mental health that comes with it. Well, now we know we're into October, and we're really working on mental health and mental health awareness. And it's been so exciting to see so many feeds, my family members and others out there that are putting so many things out there. And so it's only appropriate that we would spend some time tonight and talk about mental health and mental health awareness, and really talking about the stigma around it and all the things that prevent us from getting healthy.
I know, it's just incredible to me. And I do think that it's been a really beautiful process. Okay, wait, time out. Let's get some facts and figures straight. How long have you been in the mental health industry?
30, going on 31 years.
Yeah, and I'm like on 16, 17, right through there, at working with the population in their mental health, right?
Yep.
And it's been really cool. And I know your journey is longer than mine because he's older than me, ladies and gentlemen.
I knew that.
However, even in just the time that I've spent in the industry, seeing the transition of it becoming more acceptable, more acceptable is the wrong word, accepted, even encouraged more, that the stigmas and things that are put in place in our societies are starting to fall away. They aren't all there, which I think is a beautiful reason why. I mean, they all haven't fallen away, right? Which is a beautiful reason that we do have this mental health awareness to be able to really shed light onto stuff that people still are pretty afraid of.
Yes.
They have a lot of negative connotations that can happen with that.
Very much. And I agree with you. Compared to, back in the 90s when I jumped in, 1990, I remember very vividly, there was this big separation between mental health and the way that we deal with things. And there wasn't the real, going to therapy or going to any of those types of things. There was a huge stigma around it then, even more than you can even imagine today. So take what stigma there is today, which there still is some, and you multiply that. And those of, old gray hairs out there watching with me, we all remember there was just a lot, and it has gotten better, but we still, like we talked about with some of the other social issues going on in our world, we've come a long ways, but we have so many miles left to go.
Correct.
And so it has been interesting to watch. And I think one of the things that really has hurt us on a mental health issue is that we haven't really looked at mental health as a necessity and as a part of progression. Growing up, it was always that idea of just rub some dirt on it and move on. And, toughen up, get tough, be tough. And the downside with that is that things have changed socially, things have changed globally, and the pressures that we're dealing with today and the social pressure cooker that we're in is significantly different than it was even 30 years ago. And I always talk about this, you know, when I was a kid, you know, things that happened in Russia or things that happened in Berlin or things that happened in London or Hong Kong, it took us literally months, or not months, you know, a week or so to hear about it via the press. And it was usually Walter Cronkite that reported on it. And nowadays it's streaming at you. It's streaming the moment it happens. And that has changed a lot of the social pressure and a lot of the social insecurity. Plus we have these new things, you know, Facebook and Instagram and all these other things that have heightened the insecurities of humanity. We've taken the human being and put us even more under a microscope. And we're more under a microscope than ever before. The other thing that's happened is we have a larger or an increased lack of privacy.
Yes.
And that's another piece that is added to what's going on socially in the dynamics. And, you know, when I was a kid, you'd go out and you'd get in trouble, and it was mainly your neighborhood that knew about it.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you go out and get in trouble, and pretty much everybody around the world knows about it. And so there are a lot of things, like I've seen where people will get on these county websites, and they'll go through who the bookings.
Right. I know people that look at the bookings every single day.
And to me, that's a sad thing.
I do.
I really
agree.
discourage it. You know, I think it's a devastating thing. Airing out people's laundry. I think it's something that we need to get into a social situation where we are stopping this from happening, because people, yes, it's public record, but it doesn't need to be one of those things where people look at the first thing they get into work, they get on the bookings. And I have people to talk about that. And to me, that's a very devastating part of our society and socially that's occurring. So there are things that are making mental health more of a priority. And it's forcing us to go, hey, we got to look at mental health in a different way.
Absolutely. And I think also another piece that kind of lends itself to this is in our society where everything is so instantaneous, that we really, and we talk about this often on the live with you guys, is we really don't develop really great coping skills.
Right.
So not only do we have this rise in the pressure cooker, which I love that you called that, because that's exactly how I like to call it, right? We have this rise in all of this expectation and the glass window and seeing everybody's lives, as well as, you know, I think that there's the good parts of that. It helps keep us connected and give us more information so that we can find good
knowledge,
good sources of help, right? But then in the reverse flip side of that, we also aren't coping as well anymore, which rises in our need for really good mental health places to go.
And let's touch on that, because what's happening is we're kind of getting this cross, you know, we're getting this decline, or I should be more like this way. So we're getting a decline in coping, and we're getting a rise in social pressure cooker.
Correct.
So it's more like that.
Yeah.
And the problem is that the reason we're not coping is because we're using all of these things to cope.
Right.
You know, we're taking things, we're smoking things, we're drinking things, we're eating things, we're watching things, and, you know, all these playing things, you know, whatever, we're become so externalized as a human being that we aren't coping. We've got all these external things. Again, going back, in the years, not that it was better years ago. I'm not saying it was better when I was a kid. It was just different. But the one big difference was we didn't have all of the things to lean on to cope with.
Yes.
Nowadays, there's so many things that you can lean on to cope with that aren't helping.
Yeah, they just keep us kind of spinning.
Yes.
In those spaces.
Yep.
So in our conversation today, we want to really talk about how important it is. And Dean, I love how you always call it, it's regular preventative medicine. You can't just like drink from a fire hose and expect to just clean out all of
Stay
your mental
hydrated
health
your
stuff,
whole
right?
life, yeah.
Exactly. It's a process. It's like going to the dentist, right?
Yep.
You can't go to the dentist like once every 10 years and feel like, hey, I'm doing good. If you can keep your teeth clean once every 10 years and be good, call me. I would love to know your secret. Like, what are you eating? What are you brushing your teeth with?
Eating?
Exactly. To keep your dental hygiene happening. Most we need regular tuning. You take your car in for oil change. All these we use these analogies often about how you need to really attend to your mental health.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And that is it. It is sad when we don't. If I don't pay attention to my teeth, for example,
right.
If I go prolonged periods of time, I get the tartar buildup, I get the plaque, then all of a sudden I'm confused. Like, why am I hurting? Why do I have a toothache?
Mm-hmm.
And I see us do this with mental health as well. Is if we don't deal with things, then we deal with them when we're in a crisis,
right.
When we are depressed, when we can't get out of bed, when we can't be honest with people, when we hide behind, fake text messages, when we hide behind, fake phone calls, or, think, oh, I'm fine. Well, the reality is you're crumbling inside, but you aren't making the effort to get out. You aren't making the effort to get the help that we need. Mm-hmm. And then we're in such crisis, we finally go in and we get help. And we see this a lot with BMed, and we see this a lot with the hospital, where it's like the dentist, like they're going in and it's an emergency, a mental health emergency.
It's root canal time.
Because we've waited so long.
Exactly.
Where if we were doing what we need to be doing, and I recommend that people are doing the same mental health as you do dental health. Mm-hmm. Every 6 months, you should be meeting with a mental health care provider. At least once every 6 months, if not more, depending upon what's going on in your life. But you need to be doing a check-in at least twice a year if you are a human being. Now, listen, if you're not a human being, ignore me. Just delete what I'm saying.
Tune into something different.
Watch another stream.
Don't watch the rest of this live.
Don't watch the rest of this live.
For all the extraterrestrials, animals, plants, and rocks out there.
Plankton.
Please.
Ignore me.
Humans only pay attention.
Humans only. If you're a human, tune in. But I highly recommend that a human being do a mental health check-in with a mental health care provider at least twice a year.
Yeah, and I think that's really generous, Dean. I think knowing how I navigate my life every season, that even quarterly would be even better, right? Like, because I'm a very different Kate in the winter than I am in the summer. Like, I'm two very different people.
And everybody's different.
Yes.
And everybody has different triggers and hurts and pains and events. It's definitely, but a minimum of twice a year.
I hear you.
The sad part is when you don't pay attention to this, when you don't put energy into healing and taking care of yourself, I've got to be honest with you folks, you're not only hurting yourself, you're hurting everyone around us. Because what happens is we stay stuck emotionally, and then we lean into all these other external things, and then we feed into all these external things, and then we become a part of the cycle.
Right.
If people just took care of themselves, if people just, got the mental help that they need, if people did the physical help that they need, if they do the nutrition and do the things that they can do, it really doesn't not only help you, it helps the people around you and lifts the people around you. Now, some of you may be out there and you may be struggling saying, I don't know that I can even get myself there. That's when you reach out.
Yes.
And that's where you got to be brave.
Yes.
And if you're one of those people right now that need to be brave, I'm talking to you. Be brave. Reach out. Pick up your phone and dial and reach out and get yourself in to see somebody, whoever it is. If it's here, come and see us. If it's other, providers, get there. But I know you're tired. I know you don't want to do it. I know you're hurting. I know you feel alone. We've all been there, myself included. But it's only going to take just 5 minutes of bravery.
Yep.
Just be brave for 5 minutes and pick up the phone and reach out and get the support and the mental help that you need.
Yeah. And I think what is a really amazing thing about where we're at in our society and everything too, is you have the capacity to call. And if you're like So maybe depression's your thing, right? And you're having a really hard time leaving your house. Well, Zoom, Skype, like there's so much amazing opportunity to really begin to get the help that you need for your mental and emotional health. And you don't even really have to leave your bedroom.
That's right.
Like, and if that's the step that you're at, then I would just echo Dean's and be brave and take that step.
Yeah.
And that's perfect in your journey where you're at right now. Eventually, hopefully, maybe you'll be able to walk into a mental health place or our health and wellness clinic and see a life coach or a therapist or whatever it is that is going to be best for you. I think another piece of it, Dean, that really kind of gets in people's way a lot is this idea of, oh, I guess I'm struggling mentally. I need to go and see a psychiatrist, or I need to go do, and there's lots of different paths you can take. And I always tell people that figuring out what really works for you is kind of like finding a great pair of shoes, right?
Yep.
Like sometimes you just got to find the right fit. It's a little bit tricky sometimes finding the person that you connect with that really gets you and sees you and you feel heard and yet still challenges you and doesn't just like let you come in and take your copay or whatever it looks like and just keep, like you want someone that's going to help move you forward,
right,
or a thing, a modality, whatever that looks like, because we're all so dynamic and different that finding your best case scenario often is like finding that perfect pair of kicks, like that you can run a 5K in.
There you go.
It's sometimes a little bit tricky, and it can be really daunting for people.
Yes. And we do think, it's harder oftentimes than it really is.
Yeah.
And it's really just that first step forward.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that's great about what's out there and using social media and using these platforms in a healthy way is there are a lot of motivating, positive things out there. On Facebook, on YouTube, on other feeds out there. They're really good at videos and lectures, places that you can go to find inspiration. So I really encourage you during this period of time, and this is the challenge I was really wanting to leave everybody with today, but I'll do it now.
Perfect.
Is I really challenge you during this October, and we're working to be aware of the needs of mental health. What I challenge people to do is I challenge you to spend the month posting positive videos and positive quotes on your feeds. I dare you.
I love that
challenge everybody out there to share this video, to share other videos, to go on to some of these other great inspirational YouTubers and Facebookers and people that are out there on Instagram. And I dare you to get out there and be a part of the change of really inspiring other people and finding these videos, finding these quotes, these memes and all these things. And let's just really spend the month of October blowing up social media with positivity around mental health and inspiring others to find information that will help them. We're not doing enough of this in our feeds, and a lot of our feeds I see that are coming up or have a lot to do with the drama and have a lot to do with the negativity and have a lot to do with, just stuff.
Well, there's plenty of it out there.
There is.
Right? And so I love that you're challenging all of us to really make a focused effort into bringing more positivity and more inspiration. I think if you look at it every day as like, what, if you're an everyday poster, what can I share today that is inspiring to me?
Yeah. And I'm not an everyday. So if you look on my feed, I'm about maybe once a week that I may share something because I'm just not on it. I'm just not on this enough. But you're right. There are.
And there's lots. And I loved it. It just is reminding me of like right when COVID first happened and everybody was like way in lockdown. John Krasinski started something, what did he call it? In like the good news?
The good news.
The good news. Yeah. And I loved watching him do that because of how everything felt so dark and scary. Right. But so that one person, there was many people doing it, but I just particularly really like John.
Well, he's so talented.
He's so handsome.
Such a talent. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
To be able to see that. And I loved that. And so being able to bring that to all the people in your social circle, that's powerful.
Right.
To add your voice to all of the goodness and all of the light and inspiration is powerful.
And we've got to be a part of it. We've got to be a part of.
Oh, Allie says it's called Some Good News.
Thank you, Allie.
Thanks, Allie.
And we've got to be a part of really inspiring growth. And we've really got to be a part of encouraging people to get help. And the best way that we can take the stigma away from mental health and mental health awareness is to be a part of it and be a part of that change. The more that myself as a parent and a leader and a person in my community, that people can see that I too need help and that I too need to be doing things to help me grow and progress, the more it gives people around me permission to do the same. And so we need to be real about it.
Yes.
And we need to be sharing and getting out there the information that we need. Don't be ashamed.
No. And I love that you bring that up, Dean, too, because as always, we're not out here telling you to just go blow all your dirty laundry out in the wind and show everything. That's not at all.
That's part of the problem.
Right. Please don't do that. But share your journey and how you're working on you and the things that are helping you to progress and grow and to become more healthy.
And the best way to do that is just share some of the things that you're reading and some of the things that are inspiring you in videos. You don't have to air your dirty laundry. No. You can just see a video that really inspired you and share it, or a meme that shared it and say, this really helped me in what I'm going through. You don't have to go farther than that.
Right. Yeah. This really struck with me today. I hope it does you too. Okay. Well, I know I'm going to take your challenge, Mr. Nixon.
I will try. I will take the challenge and at least post one more.
There you go.
Than I normally do.
And we really do work really hard. Sydney does a great job at trying to get a lot of really positive quotes and information out on our Turning Leaf page. So if you're not following Turning Leaf Health and Wellness Center, do that so you can get some more positivity in your life.
Yep.
And then just pay it forward.
Pay it forward,
Share the
people.
Love.
Share the love. Let's make awareness.
Oh, everyone's like, me too. I'm going to do it too. We just love you guys. You're amazing.
Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for sharing and liking our videos. Thank you for stopping us in the street in the middle of the grocery store and say, hey, I know you. Thank you for all those things. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Have a wonderful, wonderful week.
Yep. We will see you next time on Monday Night Live. Good night.
Good night.
Pushing on it like it's yours.